The year is early 2021. Everyone is still stuck at home. COVID has started to evolve to become the final Dark Souls boss. Anime and manga are still in the recovery phase, which means they are not doing so hot right now, aside from one show which is on everyone's tongue.
Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revenge.
And this shit absolutely slaps.
So believe me when I say that this show has potential to be something special.
Tokyo Revengers was the shit. Every single weeb, normie, elitist, TikToker couldn't stop talking about it. In 2020 alone, Tokyo Revengers sold over 3 million manga copies, but that is nothing compared to 2021, where it sold over 24 million manga copies, which is insane. I mean, to put into context, that year, Tokyo Revengers outsold Chainsaw Man, My Hero Academia, fucking One Piece, and Attack on fucking Titan. And not by just 100 or thousands. No. Attack on Titan sold over 7 million copies, which is fucking a lot by the way. But then Tokyo Revengers quadrupled that. And in 2022, Tokyo Revengers has estimated of having 70 million copies in overall circulation, making it one of the best selling mangas of all time. But we both know something is off here. My clickbait wouldn't be nearly effective enough if that were true. Well, on surface, it looks like people are really loving the manga, seeing all the buzz around it, when you also take the manga sales into the consideration. But the ground reality is very different, like Morbius or Pink Sauce. I mean, it got so bad that one of the YouTubers which I showed in the previous clips went back to his old video and changed the title. Like, my man was so disappointed that he went back to an year-old video and changed its title, which I find fucking hilarious. Now you might be also wondering what went so wrong that people were having such strong reaction. Well then, let me grab your hand and take you on a nice ride and show you what went wrong with Tokyo Revengers. Takemitchi is a 26-year-old bum whose life really didn't go anywhere. He works at an entry-level job which he sucks at with no special talents. But on the day that changes his life, the news of his middle school sweetheart was killed catches his eye. That news weighs heavily on him, which prompts him to think back what could his life been if he just got off his lazy ass or just stuck by his first love side. Would she be alive right now? Could both of them have worked it out somehow and be happily ever after? Thinking of all of this stuff, his legs carry him to train Black. And just like that, he's gone. Isekai'd. Now that would be a fucking plot twist. But you see, to get isekai'd, you have to be hit by a truck. But here, he's been hit by a bullet train. And bullet trains are fast. And thanks to that, we save time. So that's why he goes back into his body 12 years ago.
Time travel!
Okay, the thing I said was bullshit. Aside from Takemitchi discovering he has ability to leap through time exactly 12 years in the past. Upon once again meeting his girlfriend who will die 12 years in the future, he finally decides to get off his ass and at least protect this girl. The girl who showed so much compassion to bitches like him. He decides he will change the past to save Hina and try to make a better future where she is happy and alive. Yeah, alive. That is the main part. Well, and how does that go? Yeah, not so great. The thing is, there is this huge gang which is after Hina's ass. Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. Hina is being targeted by this huge gang by the name of Toman, which actually was a small gang 12 years ago. And I'm speaking comparatively. For example, Tokyo Revengers sold 24 million copies and Attack on Titan sold 7.5 million copies. So does that mean Attack on Titan has dog water sales? No, dumbass. That means Tokyo Revengers was just that high. So even if 12 years ago, Toman was a comparatively small gang, they still had over 100 members who knew how to throw hands. And commanding them were two dudes who reigned supreme. Draken, the second in command with the highest amount of drip, and Mikey, the leader of Toman, with the highest amount of riz. And this is where things get interesting. It is a casual day where one of Takemitchi's frail friend is going to get his shit beat out of him by one of the other dudes from Toman. Because it's the personal fight club where these guys make Takemichi and all his wimpy friends fight against each other and bet money on them, even though all of them are in middle school. So our boy comes with a genius idea that if he beats the leader of this area, then he will rise up in the rank and be closer to meet the leaders of Toman. So Takemichi challenges this guy to one-on-one fight, ready to kick some ass, hoping his protagonist powers kick in. And how does that go? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh my, oh, fuck. Yeah, he does not stand a chance. And this is consistent throughout the series. He never throws hands, or to be precise, the hands he throws never reach anyone. Every time he fights, he never comes out without a major injury. Sometimes he gets his nose broken, arm dislocated, or even his skull bashed. But the thing is, even though he goes through all of that, he never gives up. He grits his teeth, stands his ground, and always gets shit done. And that is the same thing which is happening right now. Takemichi is getting violated by Kiyomasa, but after getting annoyed by Takemichi's perseverance, Kiyomasa decides, fuck it, I will just kill him with a bat. And that's when the drip squad arrives. And man, do these boys command a fucking presence. They casually walk in, and then the second in command, Draken, low diffs Kiyomasa, was just beating the shit out of everyone. While Mikey takes interest in Takemichi and announces he's his friend now in the most anime way possible. And then proceeds to, I don't know, minus this Kiyomasa. Like, he one-shots him, shooting the success rate of our boy's plan through the fucking roof. At first, we think Mikey is just a menace, which he is, but he's also tight with his homies. He's all ride together, die together type of dude, which is pretty fucking cool. But wait a minute, if this guy's fucking cool and he's the leader of the Toman, what the fuck happened to him? The very same guy who speaks about making a new age of delinquents, the age where these guys look out for the little guys. Like, even though they would fight between themselves, they would always clean up their own messes and would never harm innocent people. Like, there is this fucking amazing scene where Toman is going to have an all-out brawl with another gang because one of their guys got beat up by the other gang. And they, let's say they did very bad, very terrible stuff to his girlfriend. So to see with their own eyes the reason they are fighting for, Mikey and Draken visit the hospital where this poor girl is in coma and her parents lash out on Draken and Mikey, saying they are the reason their daughter is suffering. They are the reason she's in such pain. But instead of retaliating or trying to clear up the confusion which will only hurt her parents even more, Draken and Mikey simply bow down and say this.
俺らの世界のことは俺らの中だけで片付ける。うちのメンバーにもみんな家族もいれば大事な人もいる。関係ない人巻き込んじゃダメだ。周りのやつ泣かしちゃダメだ。下げる頭持ってなくてもいい。人を思う心は持て。
This was the moment where probably every single manga reader or even anime watcher thought of this series as something special. But this was nothing compared to the showdown between Toman versus Valhalla. But before I get to that, let me explain how Takemichi usually handles these things. Since the entire point of this is to save Hina, every now and then he goes back to the future to check on things. But here is where things get really interesting. Since he changes some part of the past, like saving someone from getting stabbed or stopping a fight, the future gets more and more distorted, where sometimes when he goes to the future, he will see a friend who died long time ago, alive and well, or other times he will have the worst outcomes possible, where everyone he loves is dead and he's the one responsible for it, because the past Takemichi was an unreliable piece of shit after he returned back to the future. So Takemichi has to carefully read between every event and relationship people had at the time and come up with a solution before it gets too late. Like, he might bail on his friend at one time because he's trying to save his girl in the future, but you find out because of that friend, trashtaste never existed. Ayo, what the fuck, we gotta head back. The detective work is really fun to watch in this show. Like, we know this guy is going to get killed, but we don't know how or who is going to kill him, because Takemichi has changed the past so much. Like, is he even going to get killed right now? Because sure as hell, it doesn't look like it. And if not him, then who? Because Takemichi has to save everyone to save Hina in the future. And that is the same thing which crumbles during Toman versus Valhalla. Until now, Takemichi has saved everyone who is supposed to get killed. Pachin stabs the guy and goes to juvie because the guy doesn't get killed. Draken doesn't die during Toman versus Mobius thanks to Takemichi. But during the battle of Toman versus Valhalla, even though by the end Takemichi does not technically lose, he loses one of his friends, and that's when Tokyo Revengers hits you in the gut and says, if you want to protect someone who is close to you, the other one is going to die. You cannot protect everyone. And that's not all. Even though Takemichi does not lose, he does not win either. But the mastermind wins and gains the upper hand, who is none other than Kisaki Tetta. Kisaki is like the boogeyman of the show. Even though Takemichi time leaps several times, gets all the clues and does not let him succeed, Kisaki is the one who always comes out on top in every damn conflict. This guy single-handedly provoked a conflict between two gangs where one of the gang comes out on top, and as a result they will accumulate more members from the other gang, just so it would result in coup d'etat, and in the last moment he would swoop in and take control over everything. This guy was playing 8D chess when others were not even in the game. Kisaki was the end-all be-all boss. He was like Melina, who would kill you again and again and again, making you suffer, question your existence, breaking your mind. He was like every tag, but he would just make you suffer in thinking, yeah, I could beat her. Yeah, like, I could beat Melina, right? Oh, sorry, where were we? Oh yeah, Kisaki. Kisaki fucked over Takemitchi the most. He was the cause of so many deaths. A lot of deaths. The deaths which happened in the past. The deaths which Takemitchi could not revert anymore. Kisaki was really a menace. And he was fucking scary. And now how would you feel after going through all of this shit? The series still continued after Kisaki's death without making any fucking sense. Where now? Okay, quick disclaimer. I'm going to spoil the end of Tokyo Revengers, and if you care about that, skip to this part. And don't worry, up until now, I haven't spoiled anything or anything major, because honestly, I thought it was pretty fucking good up to that point. But ahead of this is garbage. Where now Mikey, yes Mikey, the cool dude who commands your attention with charisma and everything, is now the main bad guy, because he has these dark impulses where he gets these uncontrollable urges to kill no matter the cause. It is just form of a bloodlust which is awakened after going through a terrible trauma and hardships. Like this guy named South. South over here lived on the streets of Brazil with his bedridden mother and his gangster father, who forced him to kill his enemies at the age of 5. But at the age of 12, he killed his father with his bare hands, the result of his upbringing with violence, and due to that he gets these dark impulses. Mikey also has this impulse which even surpasses South's bloodlust. This dark impulse, mind you, pushed Mikey to kill a man in a cold blood and put his best friend Takemitchi in a 3-day coma. Now why did Mikey start getting these dark impulses? What was the tragedy which awoke this menacing bloodlust? Someone broke his toy plane. Yeah, you heard that right. One day, he and his friends were playing with this toy plane, and someone accidentally broke it, which triggered the dark impulse. And then Mikey proceeds to beat the living shit out of his best friend. Yeah, that's it. That's the reason. Wait a second. Wait. This is just in. There seems to be another reason for this dark impulse. Actually, the reason why this dark impulse started was because Shinichiro, Mikey's elder brother, was a time leaper, where in the original timeline, Mikey falls down the stairs and goes into a vegetative state, eventually dying. But Shinichiro meets this hobo on a street who, guess what, has the ability to leap through time. But he says, hey, if you want this ability, you have to kill me. That's the only way you can get this ability. So Shinichiro kills him and saves Mikey. But one day, he sees Mikey beating the shit out of his friend because he broke his toy aeroplane. Remember I mentioned before? And the reason for that is, during his dying breath, the hobo curse Shinichiro, and that curse is the dark impulse. And being done with life, Shinichiro passes his ability to Takemitchi by just shaking hands, and that's why Takemitchi has the ability to time leap. But teacher, isn't dark impulse caused by severe trauma and hardships? And if it is a cause of curse, why all these other characters also have dark impulse? They didn't know Shinichiro, and also didn't the hobo guy say you have to kill the existing user to take over his ability? So how did Shinichiro just shake Takemichi's hand and transferred his power? Well, because... Get out. And you know the funny thing is, this is not even the worst part. After hearing the backstory, Takemichi says to Mikey, let your dark impulse run wild. I will deal with it. And with that, the final showdown between Mikey and Takemichi begins, where Takemichi fucking dies. Oh wait, they just time leaped into the past. Takemichi and Mikey are now kids with their memories intact, and both of them decide they are going to make their new era where they go and stand on a cliff, watch sunrise or sunset and say it's revenging time, where they include every single fucking gang they have fought. Like every single fucking gang. Then Takemitchi gets married and the real Tokyo Revengers was the friends we made along the way. But how the fuck all this happened to a story which had a decent end? Even though the motivation of Kisaki was trash, he was the final fucking boss of the story. How did it go from that to whatever the fuck this is? Well, you see, the chapter Kisaki dies is chapter 185 called Meets His Fate, which was released on December 2nd, 2020, just 3 months before the release of the anime. And this is just speculation on my part, but I guess the Jump department and the author decided to just stretch it out until the anime started airing. And that is why we got these slow-paced aftermath or prologue chapters, which I really loved. Spending time with the characters and saying a proper goodbye, giving us a closure to each and every one of the characters. But this is the same time period where Tokyo Revenger starts to explode in popularity. And in the following chapters we find out Mikey has actually gone rogue. And the rest, as you know, is history. I did try to find out more information by checking out interviews of the author or his editors, but I couldn't find any which mentions the last arc or the ending, aside from this one fan question. I think this is what we all want to know, but do you have an ending in mind for Tokyo Revengers? Anything you can tell us? Which he answers with, I have an ending in mind for quite some time now, but I can't tell you yet. Where one Redditor replies with, I trust in Wakui. He won't disappoint with his ending. Even though these are just speculations, it is hard to deny with the timing of the last arc, which not only felt out of place, but a huge waste of time. I mean, you can ask any Tokyo Revengers fan. Majority of them would say it felt unnecessary when this arc started. And those who say the ending wasn't that bad, they are probably overjoyed to see their favorite character who died alive and well once again in the prologue chapters having their happy ending. Even I loved that chapter as an individual thing, but as a whole, it felt, why? Like, really? Why? Would I still say to give Tokyo Revengers a try if you really want to? Sure, yeah, why not? Even though the ending was disastrous up until chapter 185 and some of the fake prologue stuff was one of the most entertaining and emotional reads for me. I was really fucking invested until Kisaki was the main villain. But in the latter arc, hey, we at least got a panel which says it's revenging time. Like and subscribe. That's about it. See ya.